Greetings, fellow mammals. The gunplay changes have arrived, and I wanted to go over my assault rifle setups for a bit because I have changed a few of them. A few remain untouched, but overall I think it's heading into a different direction. But this isn't a comprehensive overview of every single gun and every single loadout I would recommend. Just what I'm using right now after trying all of them. I almost played only assault rifles in the last week. And how I'm adapting to the new gunplay and my approach to weapon builds going alongside with that. So let's just start at the front and talk about the M433. As you can see, pretty bare bones. This weapon has a considerable recoil. And since torso hits or upper chest hits are what's relevant now, it's more important than ever to perfectly control the recoil and keep it in that exact center spot. And because this weapon has quite a lot of recoil, that's why I went with the 45-point stubby, which is the best recoil grip there is, and it also reduces the ADS speed, so I get these nice 200 milliseconds here, and I can keep my 30-round magazine. And that's just combined with a basic barrel and the long suppressor, as always. Now this combination leads to a weapon that's very comfortable to control. I have to train these off-the-cuff videos more. And even at long ranges, if you do a bit of tap firing, which is intended now, which is a good thing, like in past games, you can still reach out to 50 meters without any major issues. But what's relevant mostly is this 35 meter range, and there it just performs absolutely splendid. So this is what I use right now. You could go one grip lower and afford hollow point ammo, but that's not... I don't know, I don't think that's necessary or useful. Or what other people recommended is going with the extended barrel, which increases ADS speed, so in that case I would then go down to the 20-round magazine. But then you can combine this with the flashlight, and now you have more velocity, the same ADS speed, fewer bullets, but you have the confusion factor of the flashlight. So in close range gunfights this might make the difference. Personally, I'm not that convinced, and for the ranges I use this gun in, I don't really need this increase in velocity, so I just stick to this, and this way I have more bullets. Which also, another thing, I have noticed that I am winning more 1v2s and 1v3s, simply because most people have not that great aim, and that means they hit more limb shots, and that means I survive longer. And if my aim is good, I can actually take out 2 or 3 people in a 1-on-1 or 1-on-3 or 1-on-2 than I could before. And that means my old argument of I only need 20 rounds for each enemy and then a reload, yeah, but now I actually survive longer, so sometimes I actually do need 30 rounds because there's one more enemy. So this works perfectly well for me, and I can recommend this. One of the big winners of this patch in my opinion. Now next up we have the B36, and this thing is still an absolute mid-range monster. Super easy to control, and with the setup I'm using, you can see. So I have the heavy extended barrel plus wire laser for double accuracy and velocity, which is still nuts by the way, 925 meters. The buffer and ripped stubby for recoil, well, and a long suppressor of course, and this combination with the small magazine to get down to the 200 millisecond ADS speed, because the heavy extended barrel makes it worse. Some people like the synthetic tip ammo, but after doing the recalculations, I'm not really... let me put it this way. You have to land 3 headshots in order to make this work in any capacity. And I'm not really, I mean, especially now where I'm trying to go even more for the upper chest hits, I'm just not seeing 3 headshots in normal gameplay. I mean, here on range it's fine, but you know, you can build it around that, but I wouldn't. So this is still my build. It hasn't really changed. And if you're wondering why I'm using the regular magazine and not the fast one, again, it's because I want to keep the sprint recovery speed, as you can see, 167 milliseconds, and the ADS time, which is 200 milliseconds right now. I want to keep a step between these. So if I use the fast mag, this would turn up to 200, and now these are the same, which means if I'm coming out of a sprint and I aim, the first bullet will only start shooting when I've fully aimed. And it's hard to convey on the video, but if I use the other one, I can start shooting like a few milliseconds earlier, which is exactly what it does, but it feels a lot better. You can try that out yourself. If you don't feel the difference, might as well use the fast mag, but I do, and that's why I use this one. Okay, that's for that. Didn't really change. I mean, the recoil changes are nice, you could feel it here, but it's not a massive winner of this patch. It was good before, it's still good now. It's a mid-range all-rounder type gun, and you can easily recommend it to new players too. Now, next up, the SOR 556, and yeah, to be honest, I'm not vibing with this thing, and maybe it's just not my playstyle. Probably is, but I don't know. It's if you're not using synthetic tip rounds on this weapon, why are you using it at all? And if you're using synthetic tip rounds, you kind of have to go into the full accuracy build, and honestly, this side would probably not even be the right one. Maybe something more along the lines of this, and then you have to really go for these headshots. But it's just not. It's not for me. It really isn't. I mean, otherwise, slim hand stuff for so you don't have the 300 milliseconds. I do use the 30 round magazine because 20 rounds on this thing, especially now with limb multipliers, it's just not enough. And yeah, buffer, long suppressor, and I don't recommend using this gun. It's not fun. I don't like it. Maybe someone else has a playstyle for this, but I don't. Next up, the AK-4D. This weapon, well, it's actually, it has kind of climbed itself back into my heart with this patch, because we now have a cryo barrel, and this means we can avoid this atrocious ADS time, which was the main reason why the AK-4D was a bit below radar for most people, because it's just not capable of being that aggressive while being accurate at range, which is kind of what it excels at. But with the cryo barrel, you still have good velocity. It's not bad, it's alright, but you can keep the decent ADS speed, and that's why I combine this with the buffer, the hollow point ammo, normal magazine, and a slim hand stop to get it down to 200. And this way, yes, no laser, that's correct. This way you have a weapon that can do this. That's a 2-shot, which is actually up to 21 meters, which is pretty nuts. And no, you probably will not land these regularly, obviously not, but consider that most enemies you encounter probably won't have full health, and this is one bullet dealing 55 damage. Even if you hit that on accident, it's absolutely devastating. And another nice side effect of the gunplay changes, most people still spam at this range right here. So they're just holding it down and he's not dying, this game is fucking broken. Well, if you don't use the laser, which improves moving accuracy, which I don't have on this weapon right now, at these ranges you can afford to stand still and just tap them down. This actually works now because many other weapons simply cannot compete at these ranges. But the AK-4D still can. And with this setup you also have the 200 millisecond ADS speed, the insane headshots, so you can use this aggressively now, which I really like, if my aim wasn't so shit right now. But these ranges here are also still no issue at all. Please excuse my horrible aim, I'm not warmed up, I'm recording pretty off the cuff at this moment, but it is what it is. So, one of the greatest winners for me personally of this patch. I really like using it again, and it has found a new life in my loadouts. Now, next up, the TR7. Yeah, it's still nuts, and to be honest, on maps like Cairo or Iberian Offensive, it's still disgusting. And if you look at my build, it's the same as the M433 basically, long suppressor, basic barrel, 45-point grip. And then I actually use the 15-round mag because for some reason there is no, as you can see there's a 10 fast mag, but there's no 10 normal mag. Who knows why. But there's a 15-round mag which isn't fast but actually does improve reloads for some reason. So I'll take it. And it also improves the ADS speed. Now you could say 167 is overkill, and I do kind of agree, but this weapon is for situations like this. If you imagine that this is a solid wall and you're around here and you see someone on and he's gone. And this ADS speed is what makes up most of that. Obviously, if you don't need it, just use the normal magazine. Then you have 20 rounds, which is probably more useful for most of you, but I prefer it this way. Great weapon, especially on small maps, and to be honest, if you do, it is clunky, but you can kind of reach out there, but yeah, it's more luck based, let's say that. But a fun weapon. I use it time to time on Iberian mostly, sometimes Cairo and Bazaar, the new map. Yeah, one of my, I guess not daily picks, but weekly picks, if I'm bored with the other stuff. I can recommend it, but you really do have to invest in the recoil reduction. And now we get to the cord. This thing has a few problems, but let me show you first. So, it's basically the absolute pea-shooter chainsaw, which is surprisingly good at mid-range. I mean, look at that. That's kind of insane, to be honest. Oh yeah, that's I don't know if you saw that, but that was the perfect example of dealing 98 damage. That's a number you will be very familiar with if you use this weapon a lot. And it's kind of what pisses me off about it, because there's some combination of limb modifiers and upper chest hits that leads to those 98 damage. And it's honestly, it's really annoying if you lose a gunfight and the enemy has 2 health left. It's just infuriating. But the other issue I wanted to point out is that originally I wanted to recommend this gun with the burst attachment, this one right here. The problem is, this attachment, you see normally you have full auto, burst, single fire. With this attachment, burst and full auto will get switched around. So now it's burst, full auto, single fire. But that isn't the issue yet. So let's see the burst first. which is, by the way, if you spam click, this fire rate is the exact same as full auto, so you don't lose out on any performance, which is great. And it also reduces recoil even more, so you don't even need a grip. But now we get to the two issues. The small one first. The ADS speed is worse because now you can't afford a grip. That's unfortunate. But the other problem is, as you just saw, I just used burst mode. If I go in the firing range again now, it's now in full auto. Why? Well, for some reason DICE has included a bug, and this applies to normal gameplay as well. If you use this burst attachment, you die. Let's pretend I die right now, and you spawn again. The gun resets to full auto. So you lose the recoil benefit. You basically have no benefit right now from the burst attachment until you cycle back again to the burst mode. So if you use this, after every single respawn, you have to switch through the fire modes again to get back to the burst mode. I guess you could just do that, but that's just too annoying for me, so I'll stick to full auto, which is, by the way, still incredibly easy to handle. Yeah, but DICE, please fix. Thank you. So, the cord, all in all, surprisingly good at mid-range, annoying 98 damage, issues sometimes, burst fire is broken pretty much, but it's easy to use, it's very accurate, insane fire rate, low damage. Yeah, I guess I can recommend it to new players. I mean, most of you that played for a longer time already know this weapon, so what can I say? It's still there, it's still good. It's just not for me, I guess. And now the next one. This is personally the biggest winner of this patch for me. The NVO, I know many people love it from the launch, but I always said, I'm not sure what it was, but I just couldn't vibe with this gun. But now it has the cryo barrel. And for some reason, this attachment alone saved this whole weapon for me. And as you can see with the ripped stubby and the buffer, and the long suppressor of course, nothing else changed. Basic magazine, 200 millisecond ADS speed, you get this free shot range of 9 meters, and it's very accurate. And even at that furthest target there, let me reload first, if you do some microbursting, that is absolutely no issue at all. And that 50 meter target there can just full auto actually. As you can see, that's almost G36 levels, not quite, but it's getting there. And the reason this is one of my favorites at this patch is simply because you get this mid-range accuracy, but in this range you get this free shot. And that's just something the 25 damage weapons cannot provide. So this thing is really growing on me, and it's not even on small maps. I use this on Mirak Valley, on what's the other one? Eastwood, and no matter where I am, it just works. It just works. 16 times the recoil reduction. Yeah, it's great. I love it. This is my setup. Can highly recommend it. It's really fun. And I'm probably going to use it even more now because I'm having a great time. It's fun. It's really fun. Yeah. Next up, L85. Yeah. This is somewhat like the Scar. Don't get me wrong, just to make this clear, this thing is super easy to handle. It is still absolutely nuts in mid-range and even long range, as you can see. But it's just, it has too many small issues that makes me not want to use it. Number one, it's the same damage profile as the G36, but that one shoots faster, so you get better time to kill, and you also get better ADS speed, at least with my builds. And the other thing is, I have to use the fast magazine because the basic reload, just let me just show you. That is just super fucking annoying how slow this is. So I have to use the fast mag, but I have to use the small one to get the ADS speed down. It doesn't have a buffer. You kind of have to use the synthetic tip points, because again, if you aren't, why not use the G46 in the first place? So you're kind of forced into this again. And I just don't... You know, I can kill this target with the B36 just as fast. Maybe not that one. But then again, at this range, at least now with the gunplay changes, I can just move up closer. Use the cover, use movement, get up there, get closer, use a weapon that performs better at this range, and if I have this target, just walk up. And that's because the G46 just does it better, in my opinion. This doesn't mean the L85 is bad, it's just not... I don't know, I don't really have any use case for it, let me put it that way. Alright, VCR2. This thing has been atrocious in the last patch, and the recoil is still iffy. And keep in mind, I'm using the long suppressor, and as you can see the 45-point stubby again, just like I did on the M433 and the TR7. And it's still... Maybe I should shoot on that target so you can tell. Yeah, it's still not fun. And again, if you watched my video on this weapon, the time to kill difference to the M433 it's just too small to warrant this increase in annoyance. I would pick the M433 every day of the week over the VCR2 right now, and even with my build, buffer, 45-point grip, long suppressor, extended barrel, because otherwise you can't afford the buffer, which is a bit annoying, but that's how it goes. So you do also get the increased velocity, which is, I guess, nice, but not really necessary. But then again, you have to use the fast mag. I mean, you could remove the buffer, use the basic, and then do the normal mag. But as you can see from that, you see that shaking. It's just throwing me off, personally. Maybe it's just me, but this is much more comfortable. And I know it doesn't reduce the recoil itself, but I'm having a much easier time controlling it with the buffer than without it. So it kind of is necessary on this thing. So you kind of have to do this barrel, which also means you have this shit ADS speed, which then also means you have to use the small magazine, but at least you can afford the fast one, because it's still 167 and 200. Yeah, I don't know. This weapon isn't for me, I don't see the point. And even if it was easier to control, I would still probably prefer the M433, because this thing is just does the same thing, but it's much more comfortable. And even at the mid-range, yeah, I don't know, I just prefer it. No idea why you would use this right now, I don't recommend it. M16A4, yeah, probably, I haven't thought about this too long to be honest, but probably the biggest loser of this patch, at least in my opinion, when it comes to the assault rifles. This thing, well, it has the burst weapon issue. One misplaced burst, and you have a few limp modifiers in there you didn't want. and then you lose the gunfight. And that happened to me so many times after this patch. I really didn't enjoy this weapon anymore. And then I figured, well, if the burst is fucking me over, might as well try the full auto attachment, which is still too expensive, simply put. I guess, why doesn't this cost the same as the trigger, which improves the semi-auto performance? Why doesn't this, which improves the auto performance? Just a thought. Anyhow, this is so expensive, you can barely afford the suppressor and the cryo barrel, because if you do the heavy extended one, you don't do this. It's just build this back to basics. So if you go from here, right, you want some accuracy attachment, preferably one of the heavy or cryo barrels, because those reduce the spread increase and not the overall spread like the laser does, or the light barrel. So generally in this patch I would recommend going for the heavy or cryo barrels over the light or pink and blue lasers. So if you go with this, you have 300 millisecond ADS speed and you have 20 points left, which means you cannot afford the ripped stubby, which doesn't have an ADS and accuracy downside like this one, and you cannot afford the slim angled, which also has no downsides. So either you go with the hand stop, which doesn't help with recoil at all to get the ADS speed down, or you use the yellow vertical, but then you still have the shit ADS speed. So that's kind of eh. You also could reduce the magazine size, which helps, but it's still only 250, which is not great for a full auto gun in close range. You do want 200, so you kind of have to use the slim hand stop. I know you have 5 points left for lightweight ammo. I don't know, it's a flashlight. It just, I don't know, it just doesn't feel right. So instead, I went with the cryo barrel, which keeps the good ADS speed. And then I spent the 10 points that are left on hollow point. You do need to land 2 headshots to see any reduction. And the fast mag. But it happens, simply put. Unfortunately, with no grip and no buffer, because we have the full auto attachment, it's really not that great in mid-range anymore like this. It is great in close range, but you also are forced into the small magazine if you want to go to ADS speed. So it's kind of the worst end of both worlds, which is the reason why I think that this weapon is the biggest loser of this patch. I'm not enjoying it anymore, neither with this setup, nor the original burst setup with full accuracy, ripped stubby, small mag, 280 speed, high velocity and buffer. I don't enjoy any of them. And yeah, I don't know what to say. It's just, I don't like it. Maybe any of you have a recommendation of how I could use it, a loadout of yourself, put it down in the comments. I would like to try it out. I would like to enjoy this weapon, but I just can't right now. Yeah. So, to recap, M433, one of my favorites. Easy everyday carry, you could say. TR7 for small maps, really fun. B36 for the mid-range to bigger maps. AK4D for everything, honestly, if you get used to it with the new setup. Really fun. And then my personal biggest winner, the NVO. And I'm actually, this is starting to become my default assault rifle. I know, sounds weird if you are on my Discord, but it actually is. I hope this was somewhat helpful in any way. Put your opinions down in the comments. Which setups does you like? What would you build differently? Do you have anything useful to do with the SCAR or the LLE5? How do you use the cord? Do you use the burst attachment and switch through it? What are you doing with the M16A4? Does it fuck you over with the burst as well? Or is that just me? And yeah, next up I'm going to try out the carbines. I've already started with the M4A1 and honestly I'm not having a great time, especially after using the NPO and M433. This feels like an absolute pea shooter now, and it doesn't really matter which way I build it, so maybe you all already have a recommendation for that as well. Please put that down in the comments as well. Otherwise, the next video will be about carbines, and I'll see you then. Please excuse all my rumbling and stumbling, this is not my native tongue, and I don't really do off-the-cuff videos, but I want to get this out there as soon as possible, so no script, and that's it. See you soon.